Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief. The coronavirus is down but not out in Israel as the death toll climbs over 250 Sunday night, with 5 deaths recorded. At least 24 new coronavirus cases have been diagnosed as well, bringing the total in the country to over 16,477, 74 of whom are in serious condition, including 65 on ventilators. But do the continuously dropping numbers mean that the threat is nearly gone? Not necessarily. With a capacity to test up to 15,000 people per day, Israel has been testing nearly 8,000 daily until now, but by Saturday that number's fallen to 3,600, and again to 3,000 Sunday. The health ministry says that fewer suspected cases are coming to have swabs taken though, which more than likely means fewer actual cases. Still, there are many carriers who are asymptomatic, which is why experts have consistently called for testing to be increased even amongst the healthy. In any case, the government is looking for more ways to return to normal. Malls and markets have already opened, and now the 2-week isolation requirements for Israelis entering the country have been eased to allow for more home quarantines instead of forcing everyone into COVID hotels. Restrictions on shops and businesses are lifting, and many parks and nature reserves are opening too. And then the health ministry is reopening fertility clinics to otherwise healthy women after treatments had been suspended in mid-March. The economy minister, Eli Cohen, wants eateries to be opened by May 21st instead of the currently scheduled 31st, and the education ministry wants all students back in class by next week. The Israeli military has just destroyed the home of a suspected terrorist near Ramallah this morning. The IDF has used bulldozers to tear down the top floors of the home of a Palestinian Qasem Shibli. Shibli is a suspect in the killing of 17-year-old Israeli Rina Shnerb, who was tragically murdered in a bombing attack last spring at a natural spring near the West Bank settlement of Dolev. Her father and brother were also seriously injured in that same assault. The IDF often demolishes the homes of suspected terrorists to help deter future terror attacks, although the policy is controversial. In this case, Shibli's family had appealed the army's intention to wreck their home, but the court overruled them. Nonetheless, riots broke out during the demolitions, with dozens of local Palestinians throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails at troops, and setting tires on fire as well. In March, the IDF also demolished the homes of 2 other suspected members of the cell that carried out the attack that killed Shnerb. According to Israel's Shin Bet security services, the bomb that killed the Israeli teen was triggered remotely by a cell belonging to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, a terror group. Israelis woke up to something unusual this morning: 2 earthquakes that shook northern Israel in the space of just an hour. And that's right, the first 3.2 magnitude earthquake took place at just before 6 a.m. near the Israeli city of Beit She'an. And the second tremor hit Israel just before 7 a.m., but that one was a bit weaker, measuring at a 2.7 in magnitude. The epicenter of both quakes, though, is said to be in the Mediterranean Sea, just west of southern Lebanon. But over a month ago, yet another tremor hit Israel, only this time in the southernmost city of Eilat. The 4.3 magnitude quake shook the otherwise quiet city, and these earthquakes may be a telltale sign of something much bigger. Israel is known to experience a massive quake once every 100 years or so, according to seismic experts. And the last massive tremor was in July of 1927, and it killed hundreds throughout the Jordan Valley, meaning that the next big quake could be in the near future. Now, this next story is unbelievable, but a medical miracle has just been performed in Jerusalem. Surgeons have managed to save a man from a rod impaling his head. A month ago, Kamel Abdelrahman took a typical trip to see the status of an apartment that he's building for his family. But things took a terrible turn when he fell from the 2nd floor onto an iron rod that went straight through his head. Rahman says that he couldn't move, but he didn't feel pain, so he started shouting for help. Then in moments, his family found him and called emergency services. With some crazy luck, the rod had entered directly between 2 major arteries supplying blood to his brain, but they didn't appear to be damaged. So after hours of analyzing, doctors managed to very carefully remove the rod, and then in a second 10-hour surgery, they repaired the damages to his head. But when Rahman woke up, everything seemed to be working well. In fact, he's already been sent home. That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.